Summer 2023 was definitely not the best season for anime by a long shot. Compared to last season, this one does not even come close. Spring had gems like Oshinoko, Hell's Paradise, Heavenly Delusion, Loving Yamada at level 999, and this past summer had My Tiny Senpai. Okay, this season wasn't that pathetic, but it's clear that when comparing the new anime to each other, Spring took the cake here. When it comes to sequels, this season actually did pretty well. I haven't watched Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, but it actually looks really good from the bits I've seen. Far better than what the first season had to offer. Mushoku Tensei's second season is great, transitioning to a slightly more dark tone while still maintaining the charm of the first season. Bleach is, well, Bleach. Interpret that as you want to. Masamune-kun's Revenge Season 2 was actually better than Season 1 in my opinion. Rent-a-Girlfriend Season 3... Okay, I get it. I'm just saying that it isn't as bad as... Okay. Checking out the new shows that this season had to offer though, none of the shows really stood out too much. I think that the one that stood out the most was probably Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead. It's actually a pretty fun anime to watch about a person trying to make the most of his life while he still can. It's got really solid animation, which is a really happy surprise considering that Bug Studio, the studio that made this show, has only made this show, nothing else. It's honestly really impressive. They make incredible use of color in its animation, and the story is honestly a lot more lighthearted and wholesome than you'd expect. It's probably the best iteration of the zombie apocalypse I've ever seen, including non-anime pieces of fiction. If you haven't watched this series yet, well, it's not quite over when this video is published, because they kept delaying the episodes to make sure that the quality was up to par, so it's still airing, but I recommend either catching up or waiting until it's over to binge it. It's a solid 8.5 out of 10 in my book, which is pretty high praise from me. Moving over to one of the biggest hits this season, we have My Happy Marriage. And honestly, all I have to say for this show is, it's alright. I mean, the animation is really good for a romance anime, but also, I'm really unsure about if I'm meant to be considering this as a romance anime because of the lack of, well, romance. The first 2 episodes was Mio, the main character, warming up to Kudo, the person who she got an arranged marriage to, and then it changed to this supernatural magic combat thing with cursed and gifted bloodlines and overpowered abilities. What is this, Naruto? I feel like this anime really should have just picked a lane and pursued it rather than being all over the place. However, for its plus sides, obviously as I mentioned before, the animation is really good. The story overall really wholesome and the character progression is solid. My rating is probably around a 6.8 out of 10, but that's just because it isn't really my cup of tea. If it is your type of thing, then obviously I recommend it. Next we've got the supposed sugar fest of The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses. I'm going to be really honest, I watched the opening for this show and I couldn't tell if the animation was really good or really bad. The visuals are great quality wise, but what are these angles? I'm not completely sure what the studio is trying to do here, but they should figure it out before they make another show. Because obviously, they've got the animation chops to make a really well animated show, but they've got habits that are just ridiculous. Anyways, the storyline is fluffy, it's wholesome, it's nice. The only thing that's really difficult for me to do with this show is suspend my disbelief over the plot. This girl, with really bad vision, constantly forgets her glasses at home, and this guy who has a crush on her has to help her every time she forgets. There's no way you can't read a textbook without being an inch away from it, and still forget your glasses. The moment you step out of the house, how could you not think to yourself, wow, I can't read that road sign 5 inches in front of me. I should be worried. There is no possible way this plot could make sense. Outside of that, the main guy Komura is a bit too self-aware about things to the point where it gets a little bit on the annoying side, but it's a pretty fun show to watch on dead time. 7 out of 10. Yes, I gave it higher than My Happy Marriage. As I said, it wasn't my thing. You have your opinions, I have mine. Next we have Liar Liar. So basically, imagine No Game No Life, and yeah, you basically got the gist of this. Basically, there's this island with a bunch of academies, but rankings aren't made by tests, because that's lame. It's through games. Anyone can challenge anybody to a game and then whoever wins gets a star from the other person. The main character accidentally defeated the strongest person on the island at a game, which would have ruined her reputation, but defeating her gave him a special star that allowed him to lie about his data. To save face, the school decided to declare that he was the highest possible rank in the gaming system, and was some type of prodigy. To uphold that title, they hacked a bunch of the games so that the main character could win. Something that really annoyed me about the show for a few episodes is that none of the games that they played had rules that made sense, and then based on your ranking, you could get different abilities that just shatter the already broken rules of the game, and by the end of it, nothing makes sense. But after I realized that, I just shut off my brain, and it actually turned out to be a pretty enjoyable show outside of that. 7.2 out of 10 on enjoyment. Next, we have Am I Actually the Strongest? The top trashy isekai of the season. I watch the show basically every week, and each week I ask myself, why am I clicking on this again? And each week I never get my answer. My only idea is that it was the sunk cost fallacy. It's so bad. Even trashy isekai usually have some selling points, but this one was just so stupid. So basically, this guy got reincarnated, and he told God that his dream was to live the life of a shut-in. As we can see from the start, great main character energy going on here. Anyways, God is like sure, and then grants him a power level that I believe was 5 times higher than the most powerful being in the planet, and was so high that the magic reader couldn't read that many digits and showed the output as 2. He's reincarnated as the son of the king and queen of the country and gets abandoned for being weak because of his magic reading, and then he gets adopted by one of the king's men in secret. The main character then displayed that he's very skilled at barrier magic. Oh, okay, that's cool. I wonder what barrier magic is like. Probably building walls and stuff, that type of thing. No. Clones, internet, literally the power of imagination. Barriers are it. What is this power system? Unlike the trashy isekai from last season, I got a cheat skill in another world and became unrivaled in the real world too, this show didn't even have the crazy animation to back up the absolutely horrendous story that they made. They've gotta stop getting these 5-year-olds to write isekais. I swear to God, please, let there be some author that can cure the power fantasy genre. It was really bad, 1 out of 10, don't watch it. I watched some other shows this season, but I think the last one I'm going to talk about is The Dreaming Boy is a Realist. I can't really tell if this is a good show or not, to be honest. I like the whole main character's shtick on wanting to stop being a burden on the people around him. He's cool in my opinion. The girl he's after kind of sucks, but she's basically just the ultimate tsundere, so I guess some people like that kind of thing. It does a slice of life aspect pretty well, and for better or for worse, it does build up quite a few side character stories. I say for better or for worse because some of the side characters were ridiculously lame, while others were pretty fun. As I said, all the ratings I gave on the show are my personal opinions. If you disagree with any of them, you can leave a comment. I promise I'll read it. I'm probably the only YouTuber above 500 subscribers who actually reads every single comment I get. It's my source of joy. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, you know the deal. If you enjoyed this video, you'll probably enjoy these two on the end screen up here. One is the true meaning of peak fiction, and the other is what makes anime beautiful. I think you may be able to guess what they're about, but you should click on them. They seem really clickable right about now. You can do it. I believe in you. Alright, bye.